baby, tell her pipe down. Or it's lights out, zeros on the debit, baby, all I do is swipe now. Gucci sweater 5,000, stunning, buzzing. I be going up, no ceiling. Wow, ballin', running, getting to the paper, I'm peeling out. They gon' know me as legendary. You in the stands, I ain't need no commentary. They gon' know me as legendary. You in the stands, I ain't need no commentary. Ain't no option, ain't no secondary. I just throw it out like a Hail Mary. Legendary.
Let's get this show on the road. Over Cellium, who fights two right off the rear, makes it three. Taken down 1 by 1. Last man standing. Oh! It's real early. Easy way to pound. There's the next. Give him the last point for him. Waiting for his demise, and there it is. Look at the mini map FaZe are in. It's the guts. It's the glory. It's the championship for FaZe.
Texas, 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 how are we? All right, I know we got OpTic in the final. Now it's a question of who is going to meet them there. And we've got a journey, we've got 2 more matches, and this is a big one. It's a rematch of the World Championship last year. Ultra, FaZe, to decide who moves on to play Ravens. Let's get it going. Time to meet our teams. Let's kick it off with the bad boys of Call of Duty, Atlanta FaZe. Cellium, Arcitys, aBeZy, and Simp.
They gotta come out hot today. Atlanta FaZe, man, they have been put in the blender in this losers bracket, and they made it to Sunday. Now they gotta come out on top against a team that pushed them to the limit all last year. The second best team, Toronto Ultra, heading into this season against the #1.
All right. Ultra, are they gonna win a hard point? I got no idea. They got to the top 4, 0-6 in hard point, but we know how it was all last year. They battle, they take series deep, and somehow they keep on winning. But they gotta get rolling early here. Let's take a look at this squad. Toronto Ultra.
With highlight performances coming from these players, search and destroy it. If they can fix this hard point nameless, I think they could go all the way.
Belly, they've tasted defeat to Atlanta FaZe so many times, and this time they want to get the win.
Yeah, this is a rematch of the grand finals and a lot more events last year, Maven. I think that they definitely want to pull out this victory.
It's a rematch of the CDL Championship. It is a battle we saw all last year for top 2. Who is going to be the best? It was so good. So many incredible memories from last year. Perhaps one more sensational moment here. It is time for Toronto Ultra, Atlanta FaZe, up to our casters, Brycey, Ton. It's all you, boys.
Thank you very much, Maven. Yes, we are live and we are ready for the Ultra to face off against FaZe. This is a game that we've seen many times in the CDL. Usually it's one stage further in the finals. But coming into this one, the Tiny Terrors have been beaten down and Ultra can't find a hard point. It's redemption, potentially, for both of these teams.
It's the gauntlet for FaZe. If they want their revenge today, that's what it's going to be about for them. But for Ultra, we've spoke about it before. They've spoken about it on the desk. The hard points have been so difficult. But the wonder is if they start winning hard points, how good will this team look? That's the answer, or the question, I should say. We're going to find an answer out to that in this game. But start with map number 1 here, Brycey. I'm not sure if the hard point turnaround is going to start right now.
This is the biggest problem that the Ultra currently have. We're going to Bacage. It's actually a map that we've seen Ultra play very, very well on. The issue being is not only is their record at this event pretty bad for hardpoint, but they are facing Atlanta FaZe. It's never an easy win, let alone when you can't get a hardpoint.
I was in the Ultra room speaking to the guys when they were scrimming, speaking to the coaching staff, and they said they feel as if an issue that's been coming through is rotational side of things hasn't been working out so great. Don't necessarily need to worry about that so much on Bacage, to be honest with you, so I think that's why they've let it slip on through. Let's see how it works out, though. It is a bold call, but they will be going into this one with no pressure on themselves. They know FaZe are very, very good at this map as we load into Bacage. They must get that S&D in map number 2. Map number 1, they won't worry about it too much, but FaZe, as I said, the pressure is on them to open up this series with a win.
All right, well, let's see if it is possible. Is there fire and attack left for Ultra, or will they go this entire tournament without winning a hard point? For Atlanta FaZe, by the way, their journey means to get a championship out of the Texas Major, they would have to beat every other team of the top 5. They've already taken down the Thieves. Obviously now there's Ultra. London are looking in the next game, and then OpTic all the way in the final. It is a very big stretch for them, but that journey starts with one step at a time, and this is the next one.
Well, I would imagine that the crowd's probably going to be behind Ultra here. FaZe very much the villains. And let's see if that crowd can help Ultra out here on this hard point. It has been so difficult for them to get things rolling, but on Because you never ever know. It's mostly about these engagements. We know a team like FaZe are so good at finding these gunfights. Kicking it off though is the Ultra. The majority of the kills fall their way. They'll get the first few points on the board.
Well, it's always mixy at P1, but it's not about P1, it is about that rotation. Keep an eye now on CleanX, who's just been taken down by, I believe it was Arcitys. They're just playing a little bit slow here. Bit of positioning, don't give away too much time on P1.
Kill coming in from Cammy. If you can find this next one in the third, good plays. Can you find a fourth as well? Not going to quite find it, but the rotation comes through there for Ultra. It's the kind of start that they needed. They can soak up some good time heading over towards P2. They get it locked in, 4 men down. Best start possible for Ultra here. This is what you want. You don't want Atlanta FaZe to go flying out the gates and just finding kill after kill after kill. CleanX is going to be so important, and he's continuing his streak. Kills coming through for CleanX, and Ultra solid on the rotation, solid in the kill feed, looking good so far.
Atlanta FaZe starting slow. Look at the slaying coming in at the moment. The Ultra are dominating the kill feed. Not an awful lot of points on the board here. They need to get somebody into that P2 first, but they are roaming around as Cammy has come firing out of the gate. And yet still, it feels a little bit slow.
It has felt a little bit slow. FaZe just struggling to break the lines that Ultra have set up because CleanX is at the front of it. Fantastic stuff from CleanX. 7-2, 6 spree for him. The next one gets him a glide bomb.
Waiting for this last one. The rotation is starting up though, of course. Bance is trying to go for it. Around tower, they passed each other like ships in the night as CleanX continues his reign of terror.
It's the glide bomb. It's going to help them out heading into a couple of these extra hills. But to be honest with you, it's been all Ultra in the kill feed. It's not what you would have expected. There's 8 in a row for CleanX. This rotation, though, looking like it is going to be won by Atlanta FaZe. They find themselves here, but Bance is in the back. He's managed to find a route through. Not clean for FaZe.
This has been so dominant by Ultra at the moment, but bearing in mind, it's only 30 points difference. And on the cage, that is very, very little. You can see already in the rotation, it will be them in there. But again, where is the gunfights? Where are Atlanta FaZe right now? The Ultra are opening up all over the map.
That's the question, is all of FaZe are dead. Really good slaying performance from Ultra so far. And it's not really becoming of them to find these numbers. And that's been a problem when it has come down to these hard points. And it's why they haven't found a win all weekend long. But if Arcitys keeps heating up like this, it is going to be an issue. The kills start to come through for FaZe. And those spawns still in for Ultra. Fighting from the back, can they find a route through? Bance will find 2, but gets taken down. Can't find their way in. FaZe getting their first good amount of time here on P3.
They're looking to lock down the rest of this scrap time, and it's Ultra who will be failing to get anywhere out of their spawn at the moment. Rotation looking likely for Atlanta FaZe. They do have the current control for it. The Ultra desperately trying to regain map control. All that slaying, all that work so far. It's 18 points.
Yeah, somewhat undone by FaZe there over towards P3. Good work from them. They keep them in that back spawn, and that's what does the damage. But these rotational kills starting to come through momentarily. Is that going to be 4 dead? No. aBeZy still alive. He goes down. And Ultra find their breakthrough. Can they force out these spawns towards the back? FaZe still inside, but CleanX locking down the barn. Gonna go in for the fight. Not gonna happen. Simp locks it down. Back and forth between these two teams so far.
Yeah, it's still Atlanta FaZe though. They have the spawn. They're getting the points back into this one, and it looks like they're going to take the lead. They are starting to heat up just a little bit, but you've got to ask yourself, all the slaying that Ultra have done has pretty much come to nothing.
Yeah, well, that's just the cage though, isn't it? It's when you get onto the cage, it is very difficult to lock down a substantial amount of time as FaZe take the lead for the first time since those first couple of points rained on through over towards P1. These last 2 hills have been very, very good for them. But P5, we were looking at the rotations where they pick up their most amount of points. That's where Ultra have their most success. They need to win these gunfights over towards the backside if they want that success, though. And as said, FaZe starting to heat up a little bit. Big gunfights about to come on through, though. Arcitys needs to stay alive towards the back. CleanX will find one, Bance with the other. Break comes on through. Ultra with the spawns they would want, but Cellium's in a good spot.
Arcitys has been a really big player here for them in this first half. Boy, and a Simp starts to heat up. It will be inside, eventually shutting down. But we say this over and over again. It looks like FaZe getting more time in this half point. Both teams now starting to battle and look for this. But with 35 seconds left to go, the teams are positioning for another set of trades. And it's Arcitys and Cellium who get those first kills on the board.
Nobody in the hill right now. Very difficult to get much purchase on it. CleanX and Cammy working well through the middle though, and momentarily Cellium is the last alive. So the point's going to start coming in here for the Ultra. Looking like we're going to be heading into that second rotation with a slight lead for the European boys on the Canadian side. Bance having a good game here at 16 and 13, keeping those engagements up. If we're looking at the slaying side of things, aBeZy struggling, as he did at the beginning of the game yesterday when it came down to Priestahh, but we know how he heated up in the second rotation.
Oh, it's never about how you start, it's always about how you finish. And this game has an awful long time left to go. Inside though, trying to hold down the river here. Already can see aBeZy takes him down again. It will be Arcitys to challenge this time, and he's been so influential, but doesn't matter. Inside gets that next gun. It's all Mixie of P1. Ultra desperately trying to flip this now.
Yeah, big gunfights coming on through. Yeah, CleanX, if he could have found that onto aBeZy, it would have worked out quite nicely, but Inside does well to survive towards the back. It keeps that spawn coming in for Ultra. That keeps them within touch to get a hold of the spawns here for P2 when we rotate round in around 30 seconds. It's all about this fight over towards this side. aBeZy needs to survive, does so, keeps a hold of the spawn for his team. But all these points at this moment in time going over to Ultra, and all the gunfights going over to Ultra. Insight on a 5, make that a 6 in a row for Insight. He's one away from a glide, and remember they already have one. Keep an eye on this P2 rotation, they might start coming in.
Well, Ultra is trying to heat up again. They're winning this slaying game, but the points, it's all about points in this game. Technically, FaZe are in the lead. Let's find out how they're dealing with this pressure, though, with Atlanta FaZe listening.
Yo, Insight. Back corner, dead. Nice. I got 3. One more in the back. One more in the back.
Yo, he's back up.
One in the back. One in the back.
Half on Ben, half on
Holding your
Ben.
bottom. One shot. One down.
Holding your bottom.
So I'm getting marked.
I'm with you, Barn. One top Barn.
They're gonna kill me.
Secret, back door. Secret, Cammy.
Dead.
Back. 3 down.
I'm putting your 10, okay?
I'm top. Are you top?
Yeah. Practice one, I think. Watching gate. And let's hold in the front, guys.
Okay. I need help on time.
Fine, he's challenging.
I'm rotating.
Outer,
I'm rotating, guys. We're rotating inside.
Oh, he's outer.
He's outer, guys. I need help.
Nice, good shit.
You're on a 5.
Good fucking D2.
Yeah, I'm staying down.
Yeah, start pushing, go. Okay. Yo, keep small talking, alright? We can fucking...
Yeah, I'm all the way back jungle.
What's up? I need help. I'm on streets, I need help, guys. One is on river. River, man, get up.
Yo, A-bomb.
Okay. Flip, shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it.
Back door, dead, and I'm on charge.
I look.
Watch out, I can't. Good
No, he's behind me in the back right.
I see tools.
Let's get tools. CleanX on time. He's
No, he's on street.
Slid out tools.
Yo, this guy hit
He
me.
ran back in.
Yo, I think this guy a little left.
Yeah, hold on.
One shot. Yeah, good job. Street. You want it top?
No, street, one shot. On the street. Up inside weak. Yes.
Back on the
Focus back.
Put up.
Time, yes.
back left corner, really weak.
I'm back.
Go.
One to back door,
Back door, CleanX dead.
I have your tools. I have street, guys.
One more back window, jumping in back window.
Street done.
Nice, get up.
I have street, guys.
Got my nado run.
Clinics in the back of me. Clinics in the back. Tower. He's tower somewhere.
I have your tools.
Get my tools.
I have street. I'm playing Nero, okay? You back.
Back window.
I got him.
Whoa, fast and clear. The Atlanta FaZe are cleaning up on this map. It's now Ultra under the gun. Let's find out how they are dealing with going behind in a Toronto Ultra listening.
We're flip. Go.
Yeah, Sal's gonna be barred. Sal's gonna be, sorry, Tin. They are. Tin, yeah. Sal, Tin. Ali, P2. P2 door, Ali. Go on. He's pushing truck door. Still 10.
Yeah, still 10. This spawn in.
Wait in truck door.
Spawn inside 10, by the way.
Back God heady, bro.
One's P2 behind the tree.
Back God heady, weak. Cellium.
They
spawn safe. One
Close to me. Close to me. I need.
Nice.
They spawn safe. Truck door. Ali, truck door, really weak.
Waiting for you guys.
Hey, Jamie.
Yep.
1-1 P1 right now.
You gotta go for life.
One already. Valley.
Yeah, I can
Hot shot, hot, absolute hot. Go gate.
Yeah, tunnel, Simp, absolute, bro. He's A plat.
In the
He's pushing on truck door, old. Cellium.
Wait, Gary. And then twice. Nice.
Play left.
Well, Toronto Ultra calm and collected as usual, but that is not translating to gameplay. Right now, the Atlanta FaZe have taken a commanding lead.
Yeah, it's just been about those rotations, especially over towards P2 and 3. They were absolutely dominant FaZe. And it was just about Arcitys finding the spawns towards the back, and they've just consistently continued to do that. Ultra were doing well in the slaying department, but when Simp's starting to heat up, the rotations are coming in from FaZe consistently. It's been very difficult for Ultra to get much of a purchase on anything throughout this game. Rotations, we said at the beginning, was something they were struggling with, and clearly it has continued into game number 1 here on Sunday at the Texas Major. Can Ultra bring this one back? No, it's a 100-point difference, Bryce.
The dream is always alive, but it is going to be Atlanta FaZe just continuing to pile on the hurt here in this one. They started to catch fire. They've brought that slaying level right up to match the Ultra. And at the moment, they are 16 points away from taking this first hard point. Toronto Ultra could be 0 and 7.5 points this weekend in just a few seconds.
Yeah, looking that way, isn't it? 16 points away from FaZe. Can Ultra lock something down? For them, they have to be concentrating on these rotations, but they can't allow FaZe to get any control in that mid-map. Slaying ability-wise, it's been relatively even, but Cellium and Arcitys have really stepped things up for the team. They're the guys that are going to be getting your rotations. They've consistently been there to do so. Ultra inside the hill now, trying to soak up a little bit of time. Can they find their way back into it? Arcitys and Co, they're setting up already for P2. They want to hold these spawns down. They know they can end it there. Still 30 seconds left to go on P1.
Well, Atlanta FaZe is going to put the pressure on here on P1. It is going to force the Ultra to react to it. That's the worst part of it. There's nothing the Ultra can do. They want the spawns, but they can't let middle go. They know the potential is there to lose the game right here and now. Simp gets 3. And this is all tears for Ultra. They continue to be bodied into the floor. Hardpoint is not their game mode this weekend. As down they go, and Simp lights them up.
Simp starting to heat up towards the end of the game, but FaZe always in control. When we went to that second rotation, it was flawless from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. They string it up. They string Ultra up in map number 1. A very, very comfortable win. A one that they would have expected, but a good way to come out the gates on Sunday.
It's kind of insane, right, when you think about how that game went. Ultra was slaying very, very hard in the beginning. In fact, even look at the statistics, they're still doing pretty well. It looks pretty even. The issue being is that even towards P2, right, like they were still slaying. The Ultra never really flipped them out. They never really got time on the hill. They never really got anything going, you know? It was pretty even about halfway just because Ultra were dominating the kill feed. As soon as that stopped, FaZe ran away with it.
Yeah, I'm just having a look there, working it all out. Just a +8 on the slaying side of things for FaZe accumulates to 106 point difference in the end. And it just is, it's about those rotations. We say that, you know, Bacage is not necessarily as much about rotations as some of the other maps on this game, but it's still very relevant, it has to be said, and FaZe dominated that area of the game, specifically in that second set of hills. Very, very good game out of them, and as said, Simp started to heat up towards the end. It's a dangerous prospect for the Ultra. Who would have known coming out onto Bacage? They would have known it was going to be very, very difficult. I don't think they'll be too displeased about that one. They started it well, they got their guns flying, but it was just out-rotated time and time again. They won't be feeling too bad about it though.
No, it's certainly well. I have to give credit to Arcitys here. I know we usually talk about the Tiny Terrors and their insane gun skill around the map, but if you were watching the minimap from watching the important kills on it, Arcitys was the player who stopped Ultra cold. Time and time again, when they needed a rotation, there he was. When they tried to get hill time, there he was. Arcitys holding it down until FaZe found their feet and started winning the gunfights.
Yeah, it was that rotation over towards P3 that they really locked it in. You seen Arcitys all the way at the back. He was as deep as possible on Bacage. He was nearly into the next map, the next town down the road, but nonetheless, he locks in the spawns for his team and locks in map number 1 for Atlanta FaZe. We head over towards Desert Siege, Search and Destroy. Well, Ultra have had some luck this weekend so far, so can they level it up? We know that 2, 3, and 5 have been their maps, but they're going up against a team who's gone on maps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every single time. So can they turn it around here and even the odds on Desert Siege? They're going to need to be at the very best here, Bryce.
They really are. Obviously, last time around, we saw Inside, I think, doing some magical work with the sniper on this map. Gonna need him to do it again. Being a 2-3-5 team means you absolutely need the 2, 3, and 5 to stand a chance because, let's face it, myself, the experts, the fans, everybody on socials, I don't think they're winning map 4, so it's going to be a long ride regardless.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very difficult. They really do need to come in with the S&D and control win if they want a good game here. If they want to advance on, but 2 guys on the S&D for the side of each team, FaZe and obviously Ultra, is Simp and Insight. They're the ones who've been leading the charge. And who's going to be the one to step it up here for these teams in this map number 2? This is over the whole season, though, and I would say that Insight has been notably better than 1.24 on average in Search and Destroy this weekend, but Simp on a consistent level, a 1.57 is quite incredible.
Yeah, it really is, and this is the difficulty. We've said this before, right? When you come into this level of competition, when you get to the major, you cannot have weaknesses like Ultra currently do, because let's face it, against a team like Atlanta FaZe,
immediate disadvantage.
Yeah, like you're already a map down. You're then expecting to try win your 2-3-5s. It's a long mountain to climb, and I don't know whether or not they're going to be able to get past FaZe at the moment.
I mean, FaZe have been the same in terms of long series, but how many long series have Ultra had nearly every single time going all the way to map number 5? Desert Siege has been good for them. The sniping from Insight has been good for them. Can that be the catalyst to get them back into this game? As said, they would have known that hardpoint would have been very, very difficult, but this is where their game starts for them. Hardpoint issues can be fixed, but not necessarily overnight. But S&D, it's kind of been their bread and butter all weekend long. Can they get this series going? Can they get themselves on the board and make a game of it?
Well, maybe.
Yeah, look, honestly, it doesn't bode well. Every single other stat does still point towards the fact that FaZe are an incredible Search and Destroy team. But Ultra, as said, you need this one.
Let's find out. There's Winsight with the old sniper rifle again, open the door, and that time it's been caught, and that's just a shoulder, maybe an elbow. Nothing really been given away here. Bearing in mind, for all the work that Insight has done this weekend with the sniper rifle, that VOD is available for all teams. They will make sure and keep an eye on it and maybe try playing around it.
Yeah, that was one thing that Insight's been doing quite a lot. They've allowed the doors to be open. Arcitys ready for the guy opening the door. Nothing that Insight could be found, but we've got a 3v3 on our hands here, as CleanX did find a kill to counter back, and aBeZy did fall. Arcitys now wrapping it back around. Ultra yet to make their mind up on which way they're going, but it seems as if they're leaning towards Zig. Arcitys sees the glint and says, no thank you.
Yeah, that's been called out there, and Insight's trying to find him, and Cammy's going to go down. Arcitys again doing so well. That will be back in though. CleanX gets it back to a 2 versus 2. Simp says no thank you, traded back. And Insight, he's been everything for Ultra. Can he do it one more time? I don't think they're going to peek him.
Yeah, FaZe are really not giving Insight any sort of chance in round number 1 to find very much. Cellium will probably spot him there as he does transition over. You can see that Simp starts to make his move, and the problem is when you've got a sniper, you come up against an MP40, you're never in a really good spot here as Simp, but Insight, could he get it done here? He goes jiggling as best as he can, find Simp.
Oh.
I don't know if he's got time. I don't know if he's got time, and Cellium will back on down.
No! Oh, I didn't think he had time. I didn't think he had time. He had to go for it. He didn't think Cellium would come, and Cellium wisely backed off there, but well played by FaZe. Loved that movement from Simp. He knew he didn't need to take the gunfight immediately. He's like, all right, I'll throw a couple of shoulders, give me a shimmy, give me a shake, and I'm out of here.
Yeah, it allows his teammate to get back in touch with him if they do need to find that kill, and also puts that time just down enough that Ultra can't do anything with it. Good attempt there from Insight, though, has to be said. Now, FaZe's turn to go on the attack. These engagements at the start of the round are always so important. Arcitys gets aggressive and says, Insight, thank you very much. You want to line it up, you can't do it there. CleanX will take a couple of bullets as this bomb will surely go down, and does so. aBeZy trades back as Bance finds one. It's a 3v2.
Well, Arcitys heard of the tales of the Insight sniper and says, I really don't care. Straight on the roof, lines it up, guns him down. FaZe up 2-0 in a pretty fast round.
And if they can shut down Insight, it's going to be so difficult for Ultra to find a map here. Really good shots from Arcitys straight out of the gate. Gets himself up on the ledge, and all of a sudden, Insight, if you miss your bullet, you are dead. In that scenario, Arcitys ain't going to miss himself. So, heading into round number 3, Ultra need to reevaluate here. What is the plan? They found themselves down in some of their previous games as well. The aggression not necessarily working out for some of these teams. They need to slow it down as best as they possibly can.
Well, again, Ultra here, trying to figure out where the holes in Atlanta FaZe's defense really is. At the moment, FaZe feeling pretty good about themselves. Arcitys take a little bit of a beating, but not enough to take him down. Bance over the window. think he actually hits him just a little bit inside, being gunned by Arcitys. This man's been such an issue for them. Eventually, Bance manages to get that trade as well. It's advantage to Ultra now.
Yeah, Bance with lots of control here for his team as well. Getting bottom palace, it's very hard for FaZe to go back in there because he couldn't be anywhere. But round the back is aBeZy, and this just makes that bottom side that little bit smaller. Has to try and get out, just causes himself a distraction, but Ultra need to get rid of him, and they do so. Cammy finds the gunfight. There's more going on inside of palace. It's a 3v2. Next kill is important. FaZe can find it. They force an even round.
Trying to be careful here. Simp, a little hop, a skip, a jump.
Look where Cellium is. Nowhere near this one. As that bomb goes down today, 3v2 retake for FaZe to try.
At the moment, Ultra are holding all the cards. But a big gunfight out of Cellium or Simp could turn the tables.
Watch the patience here from FaZe. They will wait for Simp to try and find his route around. He turns around at the wrong time as Cammy finds the kill, and now Cellium. Not really useful whatsoever in this situation. A 1v3 here would be something else, and Ultra. Oh, they are going to give him an inch. CleanX is going to get taken down. Cammy puts the shots in, and Ultra on the board. If Simp finds the kill on the flank there, it's very, very doable for FaZe. But Cammy, super important kills. Those final two will get the round for Ultra, who half that deficit.
And everybody holding their breath at home can have a slight sigh of relief. Ultra finally getting something in this game. But still behind in the series. Still behind on this map. And Atlanta FaZe stands in their way. They now are on the attack. Well, let's see how they go for this one again. Already Arcitys, influential, unbelievable. Ready to try and make a move again. Here's Inside, throwing sniper rounds down range.
Cellium just having a peek, and he didn't really have the angle, but so does Arcitys, and they're just waiting for him. Every single time, they are nullifying the biggest threat that Ultra have. And they're finding rounds every single time that Inside goes down. CleanX trying his best to find one back. He's going to challenge it, but surely he'll get traded. Does so. 3v2.
Inside is not having a good day. FaZe have watched the VOD and said, all right, you get that sniper out.
aBeZy's the man here. Watching the map. Cammy gets caught. It's a 1v3 for Bance. Can find one immediately on the Arcitys. He knows exactly where aBeZy is. If he goes for the challenge, can't find it. aBeZy with another kill and another round over to FaZe. And as said, every time, it's the ace in the hole that Toronto Ultra have is Insight. And every time FaZe are shutting them down.
I said yesterday on the desk, I said Insight has been incredible for Ultra. Incredible. The problem is you cannot rely on that time and time again. Don't get me wrong, love to see him start to turn it on here as well, but it looks like FaZe have got some game plan for him specifically on this map. And if you're an Ultra fan, that is bad news indeed. But let's see what they can do. How can they adapt? At the moment they go on the attack, already bullets going down. They almost lost another first blood.
Oh. Simp's head just about gets out the way, but he says, well, if you want to get the sniper out, so can now. But here comes the aggression coming in from Ultra. Bance will find one of the shots from the pistol from Simp. 2v2. CleanX and Cammy, what can they get done? Cellium's ready and waiting over towards B, and now Cammy left alone. 3-2 is a very different scoreline to 4-1. And he's giving his position away. Oh, yeah, good shots.
Cellium. Trying desperately to fight Cellium. Going to have to rethink this one, though. The biggest problem for them, obviously. FaZe know where the bomb is. Does have a little bit of time to play, but he's going to need a miracle.
Going to go for the challenge on the Cellium. The grenade was good. So with the shots from Cell, Simp's going to have to get out of that one. The bomb's going to be picked up. They know exactly where he is. But Cammy, what's the play? Gets aggressive. Cellium sees him. Simp's surely going to be coming from behind, but Cell does not need him. Another round to FaZe. The revenge tour has started successfully. It's not done yet, but they are looking very, very strong. They're making things look very, very easy here against Ultra.
Every single time FaZe are remaining strong, Ultra are failing. They just cannot get anything going. Even with first bloods on their side, they soon end up going against them over and over again. This team has been great in S&D this weekend, and they are going to have to make a comeback right now. Surely not against Arcitys.
Yeah, once again, Insight is isolated, but the rest of the Toronto team need to do something to help him out as best as they possibly can. He's playing very, very passive, and Bance, not so much. Gets aggressive, finds the kill. 3v4. Insight now, this is the time where you need to find the picks, but the rest of the team fall, my goodness. And Insight, he's barely found a kill so far, but there is one. Did he see him towards the back? Cellium just jumping around, finding the angles, finding the information. Pop your head up again. Think they'll feel confident to do so. Inside struggle to find much.
Peekaboo, but nothing's going to become of it because they're going to make him move. They know he's got a sniper. They know he has to go to the B-bomb. And FaZe is setting up for it. He's trying to get the quick scope there. It's not going to be good enough. The pistol comes out, but that misses as well. And Atlanta FaZe are showing why they were the #1 team coming into this. It's still a long way for them to go to try and regain that title.
Playing like this, though, some of these games might not last very long at all. The way that FaZe have been playing so far in this series, really putting Ultra to the sword.
Ultra's entire thing around B revolves around inside, right? At the moment, not only are they no longer afraid of inside, but because they're not afraid of him, they are planting that B bomb. It is putting Ultra out of position because they have no fear of that sniper. They've gunned him several times already. And it is basically completely destroying the defense for Ultra. They're going to have to figure something out.
First game plan isn't working out inside once again. Can't quite find the head of Cellium around the outside. Arcitys gets aggressive. CleanX, thank you very much. There's Bance as well. A couple of bullets away. Cammy from behind as well. Can he find the gunfight? Yes, he can. Insight is down once again, as is Bance. It's a 1 versus 3 for Cammy to try and extend this search and destroy. The shots are in. The game is surely done and dusted, but Cammy can find one. Can he get the second onto aBeZy as well? No, he cannot. And FaZe, 2 to the good. They kick off their Sunday with 2 very comfortable laps up against Ultra. And this is looking good. The Atlanta squad to continue their tournament.
Atlanta FaZe final form has been activated. And again, this is just a stepping stone for them. They are not looking at this game. They're not looking at the next game. They want back in the grand finals. They want revenge. And I've got to say, unbelievable. I mean, aBeZy did great for them as well, but I think, like I said before, right, Arcitys, I think he had a good hard point. Comes in the search and destroy, guns insight off the rip. That told you everything we needed to know about that search and destroy. And it has to be a regain from Ultra. The team that's been a 2-3-5 team has already lost 2.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Look, I know we talked about Insight so much, but it's because of how influential he has been for this Toronto Ultra side. It's just been so dominant from him in search and destroys in particular that it's allowed the rest of the team to play their game as well. But as soon as that is out of the window, as soon as FaZe nullify that threat, it becomes a very easy game. It's like they were playing 4v3 for the majority of the rounds because Insight could not find a thing, and FaZe make them count. 6-1, 250-1, 4-4 in map #1 as well. But that was a map that we feel as if Ultra had to win. Heading into Tuscan Control, is it one that we expect them to win either? I'm not quite sure. This one looks like a 3-0 to FaZe written all over it, but stranger things have happened. Can Ultra bring it back? We know they're a good team, but they just haven't been able to get it going in certain game modes this weekend.
They certainly haven't. Well, we'll have to find out what happened in the second half of this game, or maybe the last third. We'll see you right after this break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this game. It is Atlanta FaZe versus Toronto Ultra, but if I'm being more accurate, it's Atlanta FaZe running through them.
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what has happened. FaZe on the redemption is what they are trying to do right now. They started off with 100 Thieves last night, and they have continued up here with Ultra. There is still a step to go, potentially, obviously, in London. If they can close out this game, everything is kind of pointed in that direction, let's be honest. But heading into the game against London, they will want that date with OpTic in the final. That's ultimately what they've had to aim for. As soon as they lose that game, they've got to win 3 more before they get another shot against OpTic. And that's what they're going to be motivated by. After that game yesterday, they were so close to closing it out. The reverse sweep comes in. I'd imagine Twitter blew up. The venue blew up. It wouldn't have been a good time for them, but now it's about that redemption. Can they find their way back and try and get revenge?
Yeah, of course, not selling Ultra short at this point. There is always the potential for a reverse sweep. It could happen. Atlanta FaZe have had it happen to them one time already this week. I don't know, though. At the moment, Ultra seem to need to go back into the lab, figure some things out. They haven't been looking like the Ultra of last season, or even the Ultra in the qualifiers.
No, they really haven't looked fantastic so far here today. And hardpoint is a huge issue. If you can't win that map, you're relying so heavily on your search and control. And when you go up against a team like FaZe, it's so difficult to get that done. As said, when it's come down to Toronto, they're a 2, 3, and 5 team. I've said it before, FaZe are a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 team. And right now, we're heading into 3. Ultra down 2. You kind of know the story typically, and we're heading into a Tuscan as well. That just does not bode well for Ultra at all. All signs point to a 3-0. But can Ultra turn this one around? Their offensive win percentage will give them some hope. But their defensive, maybe not so much.
Well, keep an eye on Cellium, a 1.5. An absolutely ridiculous stat for the monster from FaZe. I don't know how on earth they're going to deal with this one. This could be fast, or it could be slow, but it's still feeling like FaZe the entire way. Let's find out, though, as we jump onto this. Already, FaZe getting straight to A point. Pretty standard opening for them. Wonder if Ultra have anything left.
Let's see if they can find something. Well, they're going to find 3 down immediately. Can they force them away? Decent start for Ultra, and I think for them it's super important for them to have a good round number 1 to get themselves back into this game. Just get a bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence. It seems to be lacking right now on that stage, and that's going to be difficult against this FaZe side. Simp, though, escapes through mid-map, back into church, where the demons reside. They find themselves into A now. The gunfights go their way, and only CleanX can answer back. This should be A, ticking on down for FaZe.
Simp trying to just see if anybody rotates out of church, coming towards him here, of course, Ultra. Don't want to give away too many lives at this point or let anything open. They know A is going. And they're going to try for a retake here in just a few seconds. But they're looking for that first kill, looking for a way in already. They're going through. Bance may be the first player in here as well. He's going to go for it. And Bance, though, teaming up to get 2. It's the pressure coming onto Atlanta FaZe. Bance staying alive. He is not letting this one go quietly, but Cellium says thank you very much. For the rest of Ultra, they come swinging in, something they are known for. That teamwork, gunning all over the map, and CleanX already starting off on a nice 3 streak.
Yeah, much better from Ultra finding these kills, but consistently. When these kills come through, Simp survives, finds his way through church, and when you know you haven't cleared all those players, revolvement in your mind, you're always thinking about where it could possibly be. Where he is currently in your spawn, allowing the rest of FaZe to now push on through. Bance needs to find some kills here as best as he can. There's the second, not quite sure how that bullet landed. Nonetheless, though, Ultra will be happy for a little bit of purchase in mid-map, but Arcitys still inside of B. Here is Simply still surviving, but Ultra clear them out.
Ultra holding on. And the question will now be asked, do we try and just rip this away from them and get A? aBeZy getting that first kill into the mid-map. They're looking to lock down A for that little bit of extra time. CleanX eventually takes him down. Ultra won't commit too much to this. They know they want to keep those lives on their side, and that B is very, very important.
Yeah, Ultra definitely on the defensive side of things don't want to commit too much to it either. They'd rather win them cleanly so you can potentially get that final defensive round, but that's 3 dead now as FaZe advance forward. They're inside of B. They're taking this up very, very quickly as well. They've come in with a stack, and if you're Ultra, you have to go, but you've got to see a right to get through. Inside finds 2. aBeZy, though, counteracts that one. He has Bance inside the hill, needs to clear them out. aBeZy is still there and finds 3 as well inside. He's all alone. He's still surviving. He might just pick it up all on his own. And my goodness me, aBeZy.
Well, topic of conversation this weekend is, does stacking work? And well, sometimes it does, but that's the problem.
I mean, aBeZy stacked on his own there towards the end, finds 4 to close out the round. It is absolute disaster zone for Ultra. You do not want to be losing that first round. You're 2-0 down. Those are rounds you need to win. And FaZe flick the switch, and aBeZy says no, and there's the attack around that FaZe needed.
Ultra going to be feeling this pressure. They were pretty confident right up until that last push. Now they go for it already. aBeZy opening up with that first blood here as well. Bance will eventually take him down. Ultra now have a mountain to climb. They've got to figure out how do we get past that line of FaZe and get this attack.
Concentrating their resources over towards here right now. Get that little bit of extra time on the board. FaZe looking to try and defend this as best as they possibly can. Simp towards the back. Is he going to be the bait? Is he going to have any help here, or does he even need it? There's one! Second not going to come. Cammy will shut it down. Progress still continuing here for Ultra.
They're just going to play this really, really smart. Try and get as many lives in the bank as possible. They know they're going to get A. And FaZe is going to try and punish them every single time they push. You can already see the Ultra trying to get through. Insight gets a kill towards the back. A still not fully confirmed. And there is a fight going on. CleanX is actually going to take down Cellium. That will be the A locked in for them now.
It's all about Church and mid control now. Can they find it? Simp is inside. Need Nexusism to get out of this. Church at the moment, 7 and 6 from him. This guy is an absolute monster. He is eventually going to fall. Cammy is there. Simp. No help from the rest of these teams. Ultra are inside of B, but everywhere else is FaZe. As soon as you find those kills, there's so many easy routes to find yourself coming around from behind, up against Ultra, who are trying to attack B, and it's only currently Cammy left.
Cammy trying to do an awful lot of work there to slow down a lot of FaZe, but it's not happening. Ultra are going to have to regain. It's time for them to get their players cohesive and together. They'll be waiting for this first push. Bance, though, opening up a little bit. It will be Ultra now going to try and make a move. Here they go for the point. Getting in. Bance goes straight in. Inside getting one as well. There is a flank coming through Church as well at the same time. They're trying to put the pressure on, but Cellium and Simp holding it down. CleanX just one. He's going to be gunned down as well. The only player left alive will be Bance. It was a valiant push, but Bance is left alone against a sea of FaZe. And eventually he's taken out as well. Full reset for the Ultra. It was ambitious, but no good.
Yeah, minute 15 to go. You've got 2 more goes added, but Arcitys and cut. Trying to make that route that little bit longer. They find 2 on the Cammy, and consistently you're seeing Simp just try and flank around behind. Cellium's done so well to slow them down though. Utility comes through, the pistol, the auto, getting it done with anything he possibly can. Currently getting chased by Bance. There's the help. Fantastic work from Cell. Toronto maybe only have 1 more go at this if they aren't careful. They need to get rid of Simp where he's residing right now inside the maps, and it's just so difficult to get rid of a player like this. Bance is next on the chopping block potentially as Cellium comes up to help him out. Ultra really struggling to break through the line here.
Ultra need to find a kill first. They need a little bit of numerical advantage to make this one happen. They're already going through P5. They're looking for it, but Simp was in a great position. There were players right next to him, but he's going all the way around. Bance is sitting him. Says thank you very much. Arcitys gets a second player, and Ultra are faltering here already. You can already see that. I think it's inside. Try to jump on to stop that time for a second, but it's no good. FaZe are just killing them every single position on this map.
It's on CleanX to try and find some kills and stop this time. Has to do it all on his own. There you go. That's not a bad start. Inside the point, though. Does he know he's being pushed from archers? No, he does not. Insight. He's the only one who can get there. Arcitys guns, and I don't think anyone else from Ultra is within touching distance, and FaZe will find another. This has been flawless from FaZe so far here today. They look chilled. They look calm. Ultra have offered really little to nothing so far in ways of any sort of resistance against this FaZe squad in this series.
It is one-sided. This does not feel like this far in a tournament. This feels like a round 1 game. At the moment, FaZe are just asserting their dominance all over the map. Surely they can't win another attack against Ultra. This could be their very last round of their entire tournament.
Simp inside of Church once more. Can't find the kill on the inside. Ultra able to trade kills away, but the progress is here for FaZe, and there's aBeZy with 2 more to his name. Ticking up very, very quickly. This may be done in 3 with the way that FaZe are just bringing the heat right now. And this is such a worry for everybody left in this tournament. London will be looking at this game and thinking, right, how do we counteract this one? At this point, you know, we can theorize that Ultra can maybe bring this one back, but there goes A. It's a defensive hold that has to come through for Ultra. They will likely then have to win 2 rounds of attack to stay in the series.
It is an incredible mountain to climb. But before we can even talk about a potential 2 more rounds, they have to hold on against this one. CleanX gets one. aBeZy gets that trade, though. There's a lot of pressure coming in from Ultra. They know they don't want to give away any map control at all. Do not give them even a slight, because Cellium is sitting at the back. That could be a huge boon if Cammy can find the streaks here, but it is still a mountain to climb at the moment.
Yep,
FaZe trying to make a push.
5 spray for Cammy. Could this be something? A small amount of light for the rest of the team to try and get themselves back into this one. This kill on the Simp could be huge if he can find him, but Simp says no, there's the shutdown. No streak's going to come on through. Ultra looking to defend as best as they possibly can. Cell still to the back, but that's forcing the spawns for Ultra into an awkward spot. Simp will find 2 up towards Patio, and will he just continue? 3 in a row. Here comes number 4 on the insight as well. And FaZe just ain't missing, and Simp at the forefront of this one. Incredible game out of him, and FaZe have looked somewhat flawless, but still work to do in round number 3.
Cellium's been back here for about 10 hours. Eventually going to have a gunfight with Inside, and Inside ends up winning it. Cellium has been missing on the map for a little while for FaZe. It's not really mattered too much for them. Still a lot of time left on this.
He's just chilling. The rest of his team are getting it done on their own. Bance now trying to lock this one down. FaZe have got 55 seconds. The lives are level. Now probably 2 more pushes into this one. Can Ultra slow it down? FaZe will also know they don't want to give over too many kills towards this Ultra side, but at the minute with the way that Arcitys is gunning, it's not going to be a worry. Here comes aBeZy round the corner. Bance will find 1, can't find the second. That's 3 in a row from Arcitys. Here comes the push. Here comes number 3. Number 4 not quite there. FaZe still inside the point, still in and around it. 30 seconds to go.
Cellium continuing to do work though. This is opening the door for FaZe. They can get more bodies in. They're trying to get this push through, even though Ultra also have members here. Cellium and Bance going at it. Bance gets a 2-piece to slow it down. Somehow Insight go at it. But it will be again a breathe of relief, just a slight respite. The Ultra are holding on, and I don't think Atlanta FaZe are going to try and make this push. They do not want to give it away. They already have a massive life advantage regardless.
Yeah, they may have a little look at it though. You can see Arcitys finds his way in. Here comes aBeZy from behind as well, and the CleanX. Surely the shots are going to come through, and yes, they are. That time should tick down. Ultra will get themselves on the board with a defensive win, but they need to find probably 2 attacking rounds here to make a game of it. And really, they didn't offer anything in their initial attack. Can they find something here? You can see the looks on the players' faces right now. It doesn't bode a lot of confidence, whereas FaZe have been crispy clean all the way through. Ultra, though, they're in a spot. They need 2 attacking rounds in a row, more than likely. One of them comes like they usually come. Let's go for a listening with Toronto Ultra.
Want to see him? Go, 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 go. Top green.
Nothing, top green. Top green,
Nice.
I'm in this one, I'm trying to get in.
One's plat. Simp plat, okay? He's going, looks like he's pushing P5. Or towards P5.
That was A-side, I think that was A-side.
I'm deep small, by the way.
Yeah,
Look one, he could be pinching.
Yeah, he could.
Got me already.
Spawn back tank, bro. Back tank, already backsteps, Ben.
One's top green, Sal, top green.
Go to elbow.
I'm going across me,
Be annoying.
Yeah.
Look for Simp still.
Church Simp.
Okay.
Go on the ramp. On front church, for sure.
I'm gonna say let's push. I'm pushing through here.
Yeah, go. We can keep doing that.
Yeah,
Don't cap it too quick here. Okay.
Simp's absolute top green. Simp is
I'm
absolute
for the
top green.
in the back, Sal, my bad. So listen, Sal back tank, one's probably in church, Alec.
I'm gonna try and help Jamie.
Our side, you absolute, bro.
Where?
He might push.
Nice.
Looking for a beat.
Straight for church. Right, Alex in top green now. He went to mid. One more plat, one's top green.
Jump down ladder. The top green, I'm
church, Alex.
Yeah.
Weak.
Yeah, nice.
Mercy cam.
Plat, Sal, really weak plat. Good drop low, I'm pretty sure. Low L, he was really weak.
That's two. Already plat.
I'm on top church now.
2 plat, one's back elbow.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Gonna be in the chart.
I'm coming plat as well. We can get nades,
Yep, do the nades.
I'm doing it. And nades on it.
Going over.
I don't have nades.
Plat weak. Ready?
I'm trying nade over.
Well, Toronto Ultra trying to pick apart the Atlanta FaZe. Let's see how their strategizing is affecting, though. Let's go for an Atlanta FaZe. Listen in.
How many plat?
I'm a top check.
Okay,
He's still there. He's still there.
They're going front, I think.
I'm nading front.
I have her back.
Yep, Ben radio. Nading one next. That's a good one shot.
Shit.
Ben radio again. He just got.
I have the back.
I'm only plat.
I'm doing one shot.
You're kill.
I'm done. He's radio.
Yeah, he's on point. Back.
Nice.
Push you.
March.
One more.
Nice. I
Hard top plat on me. Don't point. Hard top.
Oh,
One shot, CleanX, one shot.
I'm
On point. Absolute on point. Close, one shot. Nice. One more shot flat. One more shot.
I'm gonna be able to.
Watch your church, Cammy.
I'm on church.
Nade up there.
Arch point, Cammy. I'm point Cammy. I'm point Cammy. He's alley.
Rally, Cammy. Top left. Cammy, weak.
Alley, one shot.
Push me. He's on a truck. Good job. On truck, dead. One shot.
It's a B.
Yeah.
Got there, guys.
Somehow this push is still going on for the Ultra, eventually gets shut down as we come out of the listen-in, but that went on for a long time, but Atlanta FaZe kept their toes in, and now there is not an awful lot of pushes left for Toronto.
No, there isn't. They need to find something here. They've made a little bit of progress though, but inside from behind, can he find this kill? Listen, CleanX finds 2 with the nade though. Inside the point, and here comes the stack. Arcitys will find 1 on the CleanX. Can he find anything else? Bance gets caught sleeping. Cammy not quite, but there's the trade. It's gonna be 1 single push. Toronto Ultra need it. Tournament lives on the line. 25 seconds to go. They need to set up. They need to be perfect.
This is now everything. Everything, the entire tournament for Toronto. One last time. And they're ready. They're looking for the opening. The tiniest stage. Look at that though. 3 players running around, already got 1, but they will be traded away. Onto the point, no respawns remaining. Will be aBeZy around the back though. Cellium gets 1 as well. It's just going to be up top. It's Arcitys and it's CleanX left alive. And FaZe up, you can do it too. What a ridiculous game. The boss music starts to intensify in the arena. Atlanta FaZe, Championship Sunday. Name a better combination.
My goodness, that was absolutely flawless from FaZe. The rest of the teams here on this Sunday, not necessarily quickening their boots just yet, but that's one to look at and think, oh wow, that looks like a scary prospect to face. FaZe know they need to come back in a big way with the way that the game went yesterday. But that was a statement to kick off Sunday for the Atlanta FaZe. That grand final will be in their sights and Ultra fall by the wayside. The London Royal Ravens are what awaits next for Atlanta FaZe, and with the way that that one went, they'll be licking their lips ready for that series.
They certainly will. Ultra do not go out with a bang, they go out with a whimper. 0-3 in that one. 0-7 in hard points this weekend, and that is disappointing for any Ultra fans.
You can't do that. You can't do that at a major tournament, unfortunately. You have to be able to find even a couple of maps here and then. It would have been a lot more of a comfortable tournament for them. But if they can't find hard points, the 2 bits of how we play, you need to be able to find some here and there. Yes, okay, S&D control for the most part was great, but you come up against a team like FaZe, you cannot be bad in any game mode because they will punish you in such a way. It's as comfortable as the series has looked all weekend long on that main stage. 250 to 144, 6-1 on the Search and Destroy, 3-1 on the Tuscan Control. Dominant from FaZe to kick off Sunday.
It is. A lot of people are wondering how they're now going to stack up against London, because London are standing in their way for that rematch with OpTic Gaming. Pretty ridiculous at the moment for them, and I'm looking forward to see how they get on the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, London are going to really have to prepare for that one, because that is a stinger. When they would have much rather faced up against Ultra, of course, already beaten them previously, but FaZe will be feeling confident whoever they're going to go up against playing like that, and it just feels like a grand final that is kind of preparing itself. We kind of know which way we think it's going to go. The Ravens there, though, they're still here to try and stop it, but Ultra not able to even do a thing.
No, they really aren't, and you're going to ask yourself when it comes down to it, will they be back in this grand final? Like, London have looked really good all the time, apart from against OpTic. There's been some, well, in fairness, OpTic are making everybody look bad. I think that's the problem we're having at the moment, right?
It is the problem we're having. And look, I think, you know, had Thieves made it through and closed it up against FaZe last night, we would have probably had a more competitive game there. Thieves, of course, against Ultra, losing so far this weekend up against them, haven't been able to get it done. But yeah, for FaZe, this is the gauntlet for them. They still have to run through it. They've managed to find 2. There's 1 more to go before they get a hold of OpTic once more and have their game against them in that grand finals. But as said, they do have to get past London. London are a hard team to get past. Yes, okay, it was unfortunate for them up against OpTic, but they'll be feeling confident. They'll be going into this game thinking, right, we've done really well to get top 3. Let's go 1 more.
Yeah, so well, let's find out what's happening on the stage. It's time for our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. I believe it's Maven down there with Cellium.
Cell, how we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you?
I'm doing all right. It's a great day. It's Championship Sunday, and there are probably some people in the crowd that have been hoping over the last 24 hours you guys were going to get knocked out, but you're still here. And yesterday was insane, right? Like, you got reverse swept. You pull off the reverse sweep. how were you feeling last night as you're getting ready for bed?
I mean, last night I was just glad that the team like was staying composed and just. I mean, I'm just glad we all just we just came back, you know, because it's still not over.
No, you guys are still fighting now. I mean, after the 10 maps yesterday, at least you come in now and get a 3-0. But I'm curious for you, just on a personal level. Joe always says he loves you as a player, but if he was still competing, he would hate you. You're a frustrating person to play against. Do you kind of feed off of that?
Yeah, I mean, like the way I play, I know that for sure annoys a lot of people, but it's just my play style. I try to play for the win no matter what, you know. So that's just how I play.
No free kills?
Yeah, no freebies.
I like it. I like it. But this, you've always been a monster. You know, we've been waiting for you to come up and display this stuff. But this particular title, statistically, you've been out of this world. Is there anything about this game that's kind of clicking?
I just think this game's like kind of made for me, kind of, because like there's a lot of like spots that are like unusual and
nerdy spots.
Yeah, a lot of nerdy spots. So yeah, I think the game's just made for me.
Yeah, well, it's looking that way based on your statistics so far. But 1 down. Maybe 2 to go. You got another big match coming up. What's your single biggest focus looking forward to Ravens?
I mean, our team's focus right now is our communication. I think our communications right now has been on point. And if we keep it up, I don't think any team will come close to us. So I think if we just keep focused on that, I think it'll be over.
All right, Cell. I appreciate it. You're a monster. Good luck the rest of the way. Desk, break it down, baby.
All right, Atlanta FaZe are going to be moving on to face off against the London Royal Ravens. But Steady, this is kind of scary, all right? I mean, after the first map with the 250 to 144 win, Toronto Ultra just won 2 rounds in Search and Destroy and Control combined.
That's insane, because the way that first map started, you saw Toronto, they were going back and forth. This was a tie game, and Cellium was putting up like 4 and 12 at a point. And out of nowhere, they just hit that switch,
30 ball.
And they guarantee that P4 hard point. Like, P4 on Bocage is 100% Atlanta FaZe every single time. Cellium started off 4 and 12. He ended the game 35 and 24. Can you imagine that? That's insane, man.
That's insane. So Nameless, I think that Atlanta FaZe shrugged off that loss that they got earlier on against OpTic. They got into their groove against LA Thieves, and now they're just beaming with this 3-0 win.
Man, they're steaming now. Like, these guys look absolutely incredible. That was a flawless series. There was literally no mistakes throughout it. And, you know, Jeremy talked about the first map. It was insane. They were losing in the very beginning of that game, and then they hit the switch, right? Like, P4 was amazing, but also on that second rotation, they had control of P2, dominated the entire time, even when the streak comes in, and then they rotate and they get to the back, and it's just Simp by himself, pops a 2-piece to get control of the P3. I mean, these guys, they are on another level, man. Watching that S&D, they isolated Insight, killed him 2 different rounds for the first blood. The sniper was just automatically gone right there. Insight loses his confidence. aBeZy's able to run around, and what happens? He dominates the map. Perfect.
You're right, and after a big loss on Search and Destroy, which, aLLeY, we were hoping Toronto would kind of win, right? Heading into Control, they really didn't stand a chance there at all.
This is a conversation I kind of want to open up to the desk right now, because Control is obviously going to play a lot different after this major, because of the tick update is going to move up. Instead of the kills being the factor of defense, Atlanta FaZe, the very first round of Control, they get this offensive win. Okay, Toronto Ultra this entire round was in the driver's seat. They were out slaying heavily. They had a lot of map control. There wasn't a whole lot of time after Atlanta FaZe finally got that cap onto the A site. And when they went for B, they literally killed 3 people, 3 to 4 stacked the point, and Toronto Ultra didn't even have time to get to the point. And now the conversation here is that people don't play for that stack because of the nade situation off of spawn. I saw no nades on the side of Toronto Ultra. Atlanta FaZe instantly capitalized on it and got it before anybody was within range of a gunfight. And I want to say, I think if I was in this situation, I would 100% want to play for an offense round early to go up in the series rather than play for the defensive kill rounds and tiebreaker.
Oh, 100%, especially in that first round, aLLeY. I totally agree. Like, if you have an opportunity, you got to go for it, right? And FaZe did a great job. Stack that point and get it, right? Ultra off the spawn, they threw 2 nades. I believe they got 1, and it came down to a kill they had to get on aBeZy, and aBeZy did some aBeZy things. He popped a crazy 2-piece, and he ends up closing it out, but he wouldn't have done that by himself if they didn't stack and get it all the way to the end, so I agree with that.
And this is something all the teams have struggled with across the board. Everybody's playing for that tiebreaker, but the teams that are really good at control and consistently win on those offenses, OpTic is another great example on Tuscan. They would win those offensive round earlies, and that's why they were so undefeated on Tuscan control. I think this is something a lot of teams can learn from, but again, it will definitely change with the tick update as well, and we'll see more teams stack the point. But for this major specifically, it's cutting these teams a lot of success.
Yeah, big time. So Nameless, man, Toronto Ultra. Okay, you know a lot more than Call of Duty than I do, right? So when it comes to Toronto Ultra, this has been a really weird event. We've seen changes in site sniping, them being really good on search and destroy. Not as good on respawn as they used to be. Moving forward, I mean, what are your honest thoughts about this roster?
Well, I mean, I think they know exactly what they need to work on, right? Just like everybody in this building. I mean, they're getting broken way too easily, right? And we could talk about that first map as well. They could have extended their lead by so much more. They just given up P1 time as well. Like, they were playing so hard for the spawn, taking a long route. There's only a couple of hills, like P5 really in particular, that you absolutely have to play the spawns on Bocage. So, you know, it's just mistakes. I think strategically they're in their heads a little bit when it comes to hardpoint, and they can't hold these hills down.
Yeah, and the fact that they even got a top 4 placing without winning a single hard point, it's definitely impressive, man. Because like Nameless said yesterday, to go out there and be a team that's, you know, fairly good at hard point, that's what you wake up every day. You're going to be scrimming hard point, scrimming your controls. But to come out here and get a top 4 placing by guaranteeing your search and destroys, like, that's typical for Toronto. It's exactly what we were expecting them based off of what they did last year. They just got to fix their hard point.
And their S&Ds were terrible heading to this event. Like, it was horrible. And they ended up turning it around just by one single role change. So I think that's definitely a testament to how good Toronto Ultra is.
Yes, now let's talk about how good aBeZy is, because that guy went crazy. And he's actually part of the Scump play. The game where he popped off and went absolutely crazy. aLLeY, there was no stopping him.
There was no stopping him after map 1. I will have to say that. But this definitely was where it was. He got 3 kills right there. He gets the last bit of time on the B side. Again, nobody from Toronto Ultra is close enough, but he does win the first initial gunfight that might have played spoiler. But I do have to talk about that. aBeZy, I believe, had a .64 in the first hard point.
Can't hide it.
But we head into the Desert Siege. He drops a 3.67, a 3.0 KD turnover to win the series.
But that speaks in magnitude about how good this team is, right? Every individual player. I mean, aBeZy can go negative, drop, go 0-6 in a hard point, and then turn around and do exactly that.
Yeah, that was insane, because when aBeZy's starting off so slow in that map number 1, Atlanta FaZe is still up by 100 points. That's because Arcitys, he's a guy that we're barely talking about on this team. This guy, he's the guy that's puts himself in great positions to pick up those easy kills, and he's the main leader of this team. The fact that he's putting up those consistent 30 bombs on a map like Bocage, that's what's leading them to a lot of success.
Now to see RCs put up that type of work with the AR, Nameless, they're going against the London Royal Ravens next, where players like Zero are on that roster. I think Arcitys is really going to show out, man.
I think so. And, you know, like Jay said, we don't talk about Arcitys as much because this team is so star-studded. But even in that search and destroy, he was the guy that was neutralizing inside. And he was doing it with an auto. So, like, they all take turns popping off. They're all so influential on the map. And going into this series versus London, you're going to need him and Cellium, because the all-stars on this team, Gizmo and Zero, they've been playing well.
Let's go ahead and have a preview. Let's look at both of these teams as a whole. And yes, I'm talking about FaZe and the London Royal Ravens. This is going to be the final matchup before we jump into the grand finals. And aLLeY, looking at these stats right now, this is like...
Overall, it looks like they match up pretty well, right? First through third across the board, except for that 4th S&D round win percentage. London has seriously been struggling there, but Zero has been carrying this team through the past 2 series that they have had to play. And I'm looking at the young guns now to step it up and help him out. I just saw a couple too many ego chows from them in their last series. I need them to calm down, play their game, and maybe have a chance against the FaZe.
And the Royal Ravens would be way better statistically in search and destroy if they stopped playing Berlin. I know they keep getting to the very end, and they keep playing it. Like, they've lost a couple 6-5, 6-4s, but like, dude, you're 1-5 at this point. Like, just get it out of the series.
All right, this is Steady. I'm a big fan when it comes to just upsets, the underdogs and whatnot. And this London Royal Ravens take the stage right now. This is different, okay? They're now playing against OpTic with the big crowd standing behind them, right? They're going against Atlanta FaZe, one of the best in the CDL. You're talking about one team with a lot of star-studded names, right? Another team full of young guys. Yeah, you got the vest there like Zero and whatnot, but you also got Afro. I really think that London really have a great shot at this.
Oh, I don't. I think Atlanta FaZe, just the way that they came out in that first series, 3-0 dominance, like, it was clean. And you can just tell that momentum that they received yesterday versus the Thieves, the best hardpoint team in the game. They completed a reverse sweep at basically 11:30 at night. The guys were ready to go. So now, just starting off this series today, up already at 3-0. They're going to get up against London, who just came off of a difficult loss to OpTic. They were getting outslayed tremendously, and that's usually where London see a lot of success in its respawns, is that they're able to get kills. Now you're going up against probably the best team in the game in Atlanta FaZe, and they're looking red hot.
I mean, to be fair, OpTic kind of did the same thing to send FaZe down to the losers bracket as well. So the one thing that we definitely learned amongst the season throughout the qualifiers, aLLeY, is that no matter how big the names are, and whoever you put against them, you can't sleep on London.
Absolutely. You know what? I think this event especially is attested to that the competition this year is unmatched like any other. Even Atlanta FaZe has been made to look human. Paris Legion won their first matchup. The only one we can really write off New York Subliners. I don't mean to throw you on the bus right now, but I mean, the competition, you never truly know who's going to take it.
Right. And when it comes to London Nameless, I mean, in this matchup as a whole, what are your thoughts?
I got one thought right now. It just came to me. The crowd was not on the side of London in that first series. I can almost guarantee you this crowd is going to be behind London in this series.
100%.
They do not want Atlanta FaZe in that final. It's going to get interesting, man.
That actually plays a factor in my opinion. But
100% does.
It does. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket as well to see what has happened so far. We came into this event with 12 teams, and you can't even call it on Thursday. But right now, only 3 more remain. Toronto Ultra went home without even winning a map and just winning, what, 2 rounds each on the last 2 game types. But now we're going to have the Battle of the Red. Royal Ravens and FaZe, and the winner, they're going to go against the King and his boys, OpTic Texas. That's going to be a big one. And Steady, I feel like when it gets to that grand finals, no matter who meets OpTic there, the crowd is just going to be louder than ever.
Oh, 100%. OpTic's already there, so you already know the green wall is just waiting for that grand finals. They just better hope Atlanta FaZe don't make it, man, because best of 9, it's not going to be any advantages, and I don't know, just Atlanta FaZe, their map pool is so crazy.
There's an advantage, Billy. You know there's an advantage. There's a green wall fan advantage sitting behind us.
It's like an extra player, man. All right, so you're not going to be on the desk when it comes to that series. Of course, you say Atlanta FaZe is outright going to beat London.
Yeah.
Is it going to be close, or do you think it's just going to be a wipe?
No, I think it's a 3-0.
3-0?
The way that they answered that first map, they started off slow in that map, number 1. And keep in mind, it was like 90 to 90. And then at a point, once they went into the double listenings, they came out, it was like 180 to still 90.
Once they got warmed up, right?
Exactly. Like, the guns started getting hot for Atlanta FaZe. It's only a matter of time before they make it back to that grand finals.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough from us. It's time to get this thing going. And on the other side of the break, we're going to see who's going to meet OpTic Texas in the finals. Will it be FaZe or will it be the Ravens? I don't know, but we'll find out on the other side of this break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenny Gaming. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
Upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where we're just having a damn good time right now. 2 series out the way and 2 more left to go. One of them being the grand finals right here at Championship Sunday. And take a look at the beautiful merch, the great food, the amazing venue, and also the beautiful fans. We're having an amazing time. But here on the desk, my name is Velly, breaking things down with another guest analyst. My man Ton, you just got off of a game where your boys from Europe got smoked, man.
Yeah, I'm on a speedrun Sunday at this point.
You had so much hope for him.
You know, I really actually did. We know we've seen Ultra up against FaZe last season. Things go back and forth, but if you can't win a hard point, then you can't win any of the other game. Once you lose, and that's exactly how it happened.
Wow.
Well, that's very obvious. Analytical mind is insane right now. But yeah, that was a disappointing series, I think, for a lot of people. They were probably expecting a little bit more than that. But wow, FaZe, they look a bit scary.
They do. Yeah, Nameless, you've been there before, man. I mean, the fact that FaZe was able to get that big win and then another win against Los Angeles Thieves, they're riding that momentum, and that is super important on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was a part of some pretty crazy losers bracket runs before, and this FaZe team, where they're starting off from last night, you know, in a reverse sweep fashion, coming into today and just getting through these matches in 3-0, these guys are full of steam right now. They're coming off of that last match right now where they were all frying, headed into this London match where London's coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
Map 1 is so important.
You got that right. Now let's talk about London just for a bit. All right, another European team going against FaZe. This is like, you're going to catch PTSD.
Honestly, it's not been a good day for Europe. I mean, they're having to come in.
top 4.
No, like, in all honesty, you know, they've both done really well to get to this stage. Specifically, you know, you say on Ultra's point of view, the fact that they didn't win a hard point and still got top 4 is something for them to especially work on. They know what their problem is. They can work on it. But for London, you know, they've surpassed expectations at every single point so far this season. Can they go one step further, though? As you said, it's that problem of losing that game at the start of the day and then going up against FaZe. It's not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. But London, I think they got what it takes, man. Looking at the players on your screen right now, they have been phenomenal, even Gizmo. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Afro, and I think that if London wants to win, Afro's going to have to match up with the best of the best to ever do it. And when it comes to the game field keys of victory, aLLeY, what do the Ravens have to do?
Take immediately what went wrong with that Tuscan hardpoint against OpTic and apply it to this series. I believe we are going into Tuscan game 1, so that is incredibly important. I think there was just a lot of ego challenge going on. I think a lot of trying to make a life-saving play instead of just doing what they do best, stacking together and playing their trades in hill, and they need the stars to step up. KD is this major. Gizmo is 0.85, Afro is 0.92. We talk about it. Zero has actually been dropping 1.5s and 1.4s in respawn to keep this team in game. And he said it earlier in the season, right? At the end of the year, he's always on a top 4 team. Well, this is the beginning of the year, and they're already top 4 at the first major. And improve your man down situations in S&D. 15% of 3v4 S&D win rate this season is last in this league. So when they're down 3v4, man, they gotta get it back up.
No, they definitely got to get it back up. And let's talk about Atlanta FaZe right now, because Atlanta FaZe, I mean, when we get to the game field keys of victory, it's just going to be keep being you, because this team right now, they aren't trying to drop a map at all. They want that rematch in the grand finals.
They've looked so good on their little revenge tour that started last night up against Thieves, and then coming into today at Nameless, they've looked so good.
Yeah, when it comes to the game field keys of victory, though, Nameless, what do FaZe got to do?
Berlin S&E equals free W. London 1-6 this season. Unfortunately, though, that map is not in this series. We have Desert Siege and Bocage, but still, I mean, London have been good on Desert Siege and Bocage, so FaZe are going to have to be good there. And they're looking great in Search and Destroy since that loss that they had. But moving on, hold strong on hill setups. Atlanta's first in hold percentage, London first in break percentage. So we know what London likes to do. They like to get that scrap time, and then on the rotation, they set up, they pinch you out, they get that first blood, they use those squad spawns to their advantage. So you got to hold strong. And then take control. 5-1 on Tuscan control. They have that in this series. We just saw what aBeZy was able to do on that first offense. The guy was popping 4 pieces, the teamwork was in, and they're able to steamroll versus Toronto. So coming into this match, do it once again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time to get this thing started. And remember, the winner of this will go to the grand finals to face off against OpTic Texas. But right now, let's get it underway. This is FaZe versus the Royal Ravens. Let's go ahead and have a good time.
every single corner of the map right now. To London is Afro.
And oh my god, there are just a legion of players here. Peekaboo, I've been here the whole time!
Let's get this show on the road. Cellium fights two right off the rip. Makes it three. Taken down 1-5-1. Last man standing. Oh! It's real early. The beefy way to pounce. There's the next. Give him the last point for him. Waiting for his demise. And there it is. Look at the minimap FaZe are in. It's the guts. It's the glory. It's the championship for FaZe.
Hey! 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 Sound pretty ready, let's get it. How are we doing, team? Everyone still got the energy? We still feeling it? We still ready to go? Good enough, we'll take it. Lukewarm at best, but things are about to get real hot. Last night, the night was dark and full of tiny terrors. And for many, that nightmare has continued in today. Let's just skip the formalities. Let's do this. Let's bring them out. Your villains. Welcome to the stage, Atlanta FaZe. We got Cellium, Arcitys, aBeZy, and Simp.
A team that is on a 6-map win streak with one more match, they can get possible revenge against OpTic Texas. The boys look ready. I'm ready for this one, Miles.
They do look ready. Normally backstage, we sit, we stand, we have a little moment to talk to each other. They were strictly business. The business is what they're going to need. It's a team they're going up against, a fantastic slaying squad. They come off a hot loss though, as OpTic had their way with them in the winners bracket, but here in the lower bracket final, playing for a spot in the grand final, here in the major. Let's welcome to the stage, the London Royal Ravens. Afro, Gizmo, Nasty, and Zero.
Well, you know what? Zero looks ready to rock and roll. Vibes all around. And on paper, these teams actually match up incredibly well. Both incredibly good at hardpoint with some really deep map pools. But Royal Ravens, they got to walk it out with this first Tuscan hardpoint.
Here we go. This is it. The penultimate match of the night before we get into the grand finals. It is sure to be an absolute banger. Texas, are we ready? Texas, are we ready? You sound pretty ready to me. Maven, take it away.
Thank you, beautiful. I'm ready to go. It's time to get nasty.
Right?
How do you do this?
Caw-caw! Caw-caw! That was pretty good, right?
Just like a bird.
I'm like a raven.
Time to get locked and loaded. Losers bracket, final time, a winner. A date with OpTic in the grand final. And yeah, FaZe, I mean, you're on a tear right now. You win 6 straight. On the other side, Ravens, you're trying to bounce back. But I mean, FaZe showed yesterday they had the ability to do it. You're sure Ravens do as well. But for me, it's like Ravens are going to try and make this series messy. FaZe are going to try and play as controlled as possible. Who kind of gets the edge in what they're trying to do?
I mean, they are going to try to play control, but they don't mind that messy style, right?
It's true.
You know, like let's dance if that's the way that they want to play. I think that they've studied London very well, right? When we've watched some scrims, there was
studied you.
Well, that's interesting. But, you know, when those teams are playing against one another in practice, I think London, they've kind of had a lot of things figured out, especially with those long routes with their submachine gun players, Afro, the things he's able to do. So I think Atlanta FaZe, they're going to be ready for that.
All right, well, let's take a look at the maps and modes and how this played out. And aLLeY kind of mentioned, they both have very deep map pools, right? Like, and across game modes, you're solid. Was there something where you're like, got an advantage there?
I don't think so. No, both teams are, you look at this map set, it goes pretty deep. I think that Bocage SND could be where things get interesting. Desert Siege is another one where I think it's just going to be fun because Atlanta FaZe, they play a little bit differently. A lot of teams, they rely on that snipe. We just saw it versus Ultra, and they just got to have Cell and RC's chow. They just don't really
We're going to chow the sniper.
Yeah, snipe at me.
After I saw
I'm going to give you flinch, and then you're going to die because the auto's a beam.
Cell was challenging on the boat with a pistol. Like, he's going to chow whatever. I don't
okay, that was a different circumstance. Most people probably didn't even know that you could do that. But
yeah, right.
The map right here is for Touch and Hardpoint, 3-2 for Atlanta FaZe, 3-1 for the Ravens.
Here we go. Time to get it rolling. The big thing they talked about, you
You're so good at holding if you're Atlanta. You're so good at breaking if you are Ravens. A couple key breaks here for Ravens. You know, when you and I first kind of found out we were going to be casting, one of the scrims we watched to get prep was this one. I mean, the only Ravens map they won, it was a scrim, but it was Berlin, right? Hardpoint, that's not going to be in this, so. FaZe dominated it, but, you know, it's an online scrim. Obviously very different.
Yeah, very different, but I mean, just two completely different kind of stories here. Atlanta FaZe hot right now. London Royal Ravens trying to bounce back. They won that map 1 in the winner's final, but then 3 straight map drops. And right off the start, Arcitys, aBeZy, they're going to get traded out as the nades come in. We know about those nades.
Yeah, yesterday. Oh, dear God. Well, so does FaZe. I mean, they're quite familiar with it, and that search and destroy, so many deaths to it. I think aBeZy joked like he felt like he had 7 deaths just to grenades. So they battle for any kind of control here, flying forward. Got the auto and MP40 to work with now as Arcitys looking for number 4 in a row is ring around the rosy, pocket full of aLLeY as he's able to find it, but not able to take the next fight.
But already up to 5-2, and you know, we saw the most engagements in that last match that they played was him, and as a main AR, that is insane. And I just think it's one of those things where most of the time these guys cruise through matches, and you know what? He's the one that is making sure they're playing correctly. He's not really focused on himself. Typically after they lose, he takes it upon himself to try to make the plays as London Royal Ravens going for the big pinch here, but Simp, he's going to re-pinch it, able to find 2. There's just 1 player left. That's going to be 0.
A pinch on the pinch, a little double pinch.
Yeah, double pinch.
I'm familiar with those. His FaZe take the lead, and now try to get this time rolling. aBeZy already left 30 seconds in the objective. Just try to survive all the stuns and nades that are coming in. Now he wants to push it out. And you know, with these hard points, without the trophies, how crucial it is. Like, get control, and you've got to push out cuts to try and stop them from getting nades over the top.
And this is actually great for FaZe, right? You have radio control with, what, 15 seconds left? Okay, I was going to say great, and then they get 4 kills. And typically in this game with squad spawns, the only time spawns flip is when all 4 get taken down at the same time. They have no idea. Look at this. Cell, Arcitys, and aBeZy are all looking towards the right side of the map. That is just not, they're not there. They're set up here at P3.
Yeah, now they're going to find out, but that's a quick one on a 0. At least able to pick him off a big spot in the back, and now Gizmo has been tagged up, trying to soar in his Arcitys, but Gizmo, Nasty, and Afro able to hold. Yeah, I think they thought they had them spawning out like back church, right? Like top right.
It's like literally the only time where you see a spawn flip come in is when you have the 4 dead, and I mean, it has to be within 2.5 seconds, but they weren't ready for it. Now 0, Nasty, 3 go down for Atlanta FaZe. Simp, that is just a tough gunfight to take, and you know, it was looking like all Atlanta FaZe in control. They were up 30 points, but with that spawn flip, London, they're right back in this one.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you almost wish one was alive a little longer.
Yeah, you do.
You played it too clean, right? And you kind of get punished for it, but they try to answer back and get the final 20 or so seconds around the hard point. Keep an eye on that number 2 on the minimap. That's going to be Arcitys, who's already wrapped his way around backside church. And working bottom will be aBeZy, as they're kind of setting up like a quad split right now. And well, you've got that many entrances into church. You got to hold everything.
Yeah, Arcitys just taking his time up to 12-6 on another 3 spree. He is just locked in right now. Gizmo trying to do what he can, and you know, just not having the best weekend from what we saw at the qualifiers, how good he can be. Need him to step it up, him and Afro, as Gizmo 4-9 to start this one. Simp though, he loves to go on the pinch. He's pushing out the middle of the map. He's able to find another one. 5 spree for Simp.
You got to find that pace. You got to be locked in and carry this momentum as far as you can, but it doesn't get much better than that, right?
Not in this game. No, it does not. I mean, you still see the arrows kind of looking around, making sure no flip happens. But right off of spawn, Simp finds another multi-kill as he is snapping right now. Now a 50-point lead coming in for FaZe.
Yeah, he's feeling himself, and at the right time to get into a groove. 0 gets a couple shots in, and aBeZy goes vertical, and he puts him 6 feet under. Now to Nasty we go. As B5 getting ready, it's really just Cell here, all by his lonesome. As the rest will start to come off spawn, that's Afro that started to push it out. And just trying to keep them from having a 4-man effort, and the nades doing their best to delay them as well. As aBeZy comes on the spawn, this is going to be the big hit in, but Nasty once again, what a play. At least able to get 2 before he drops, but Simp there able to answer. You go 2 for 2, you're still retaining this hard point, but you got a presence here still from FaZe.
Oh, what a read from aBeZy. He's in a 2 versus 1. He's trying to buy time for the reinforcements. And well, he's able to find both those kills on a 0 and Afro. Now it's getting messy here at P5. Gizmo trying to fly on in. but he gets cut down by Cell. The rest of the scrap time looking to go the way of FaZe.
It's just always kind of messy here, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, yeah. I got 3 dead, and 1 grenade comes in, and next thing you know, you're cleared out of it. But FaZe manages to break and at least kind of split the time on that hard point. Now they'll be sitting around a 40-point advantage. As we get ready to get into our second set of rotations, RC's at 17-11, just holding this with an auto, getting ready for the push. On the other side will be Cellium, kind of worried about that long fight, but as you lose 1 player towards mid, heads start to shift.
And this is when we talked about the keys, right? #1 break team, #1 hold team. Who is going to come out on top? But you did have Afro go on that long route, now inside of you. He's got the help of Zero, and well, Cell just all by his lonesome, a good break there. I mean, P1, especially after a full rotation of hills, usually that team that gets there first, they get a big chunk of time. Not easy to break, but now it's Atlanta FaZe's turn. aBeZy with an aid, Cellium, as he continues, and well, they break right back.
Is that just something where like you lose 1 player, Cell then can't kind of pick up the
right? Yeah,
like that first domino comes in.
Yeah, you have to shift. You have to pick up something, and with all the different lanes on this game, I mean, once something's open, typically that's when the break starts.
It feels like as fast as Ravens can play, like the pace they have, like they slow it down for a second to find that opening kill, and then once they have a 4v3, like it is just go.
Well, the
sharks smell
they're
blood.
normally slowing down is because someone's taking that route, right? Someone's taking the long route, and trying to find that 1v1.
Back over to P2 as RC's continues to have the hot hand, now up to 20. Then finding the objective time. Nasty's angles just getting butchered, but it's a teammate. It's actually aBeZy that's going to take him out. He had a comical one yesterday as well. Simp is trying to make sure they still keep the odds here. Bit of finesse and fancy footwork, but Afro up to the challenge, still take his head off.
And this is just where this hill gets messy. You have one side spawning, you know, Church Alley, one side spawning front Church. It's still happening as Afro is able to come on up. But now you're going to kind of get into this situation again. We're Atlanta FaZe. They're going to rotate over towards P3.
Well, this time I think you know where they are.
Well, right now, unless they get 4 dead, that's going to be 3. Spawns do come in. It's Simp. He's on 5 in a row now, 23 and 11. They're just taking turns. RCC hasn't slowed down across the map. That's where Arcitys is.
Okay, well, this time they at least are able to get set up deep. Now, simple drops, so no streaks to be coming through. The cutoff man and aBeZy not able to slow it down too much, but we'll get a safe spawn there with his team. As they try to wrap back, here comes the big hit through the front. RC's just waiting on the help. He's a low man there, but on the pinch around, it's going to be aBeZy. He just comes off spawn, then tries to cut in from behind and turn heads, but you've made it sloppy here again if you're Ravens. You've gotten FaZe out of the point. aBeZy, though, with the double, might give them some semblance of time. You're now over the 200-point mark, and at risk of running away with this, you've started to dominate. Arcitys still just hitting right now with the auto.
Yeah, it's like they're making it messy, but then you have Cell all the way back in that spot, in that position. And, well, I mean, if there's one player you don't want to fight, it's probably him. They're going to flip the spawn, Jess. You're going to get the scrap time, and Lennon will take that. But Arcitys, as he pushed the middle of the map, he knew he was just going to rotate over towards Church. Just one step ahead right now is Atlanta FaZe.
Well, it felt that way until Nasty and Afro start to chain together kills. So you've still got RC set up all the way deep. But you got to think they're going to isolate him, and they do just that. Yeah, look where FaZe are bottom mid, and they're getting pinched right now. That's going to be Zero. That's starting to work up behind him. How much a thorn in the side in FaZe can he be? Because we've got almost 20 seconds into this hard point, and Zero just keeps it going. He's a 15 and 19, but he needs to have a big sequence here if they're going to claw this back. You see the killing spree pop up there for Afro as well before he drops.
Yeah, killing spree, but is it just a little bit too late? You know, 60, 70 points on a map like Tusk can just be difficult when you have that P5 coming up. Even this one can get messy, but London doing a good job so far, but their close spawns are in for Atlanta FaZe. Zero, the last member alive, and you're going to take this scrap time if you can.
Yeah, get whatever you can. Just get you closer to that 250. Put the pressure on Royal Ravens. And his Cell is the last man here. And with the spawn out for Ravens, you're going to have to focus on the rotation. Picking this up, you see it's going to be Simp's POV.
That's the whole team.
And yeah, that's one of those sequences where you don't even get to take that one. You just get shots down between multiple players. But now just 24 points away from the map 1 dub. As they look to continue, this will be 7 straight maps. If they can do it, the centering looks good for aBeZy, but just not quite able to take the fight. But his deadly duo and Simp next up the bat.
Yeah, just waiting for his teammates. Coming off spawn, here come those days. He flies on through. A Nasty holding that staircase, and they're just chipping away 1 or 2 seconds if they can. Arcitys working through that middle well side. 30 seconds left. They're going to maybe take one more slow push at this. They do not want to give up that rotation.
You know you gotta.
Everything is just blowing up.
Okay, yeah, they just burst on through.
And now you have to
Nades
go.
popping
London
everywhere.
has to go. They have to push this one more time.
You gotta think about the rotation. Yeah, and you have to try to get the ult so you don't lose the game. So many decisions to make, and regardless of where you go, you're running into somebody posted up from Atlanta FaZe. They can't quite get in for the contest. And FaZe's map win streak, which started last night, continues here. They're not skipping a beat.
It's a little different though too, right? Because it just feels like their fundamentals are on, right? Maybe when you talked to Cell, it was all about the communication. Maybe the comms were flooded, right? You get an amped up match versus OpTic. The reverse sweep starts to happen. The pressure is there. The small talk just disappears the longer that series goes on.
And I think that was obvious just from some of the individual chows you saw. Just not working with a teammate. And usually that's comms, right?
100%. There you can see the stats right there. RC's not slowing down. 33 kills. Simp with a 30 bomb of his own. And on one of London's best maps, they take it handily.
Proud, we appreciate you. You've been amazing all weekend long. It's day 4. We're getting deep into this bad boy. We've got the losers bracket final here. Winner to take on OpTic for what may be one of the best grand finals of all time. But we look through some of the highlights from that map. And for the most part, I mean, it wasn't like a blow.